Off and center drill it first, just like we've done before. You recording? Awesome. I'm gonna have to get you to post these for us, man. Everybody can see it. Would you care if we did that? Because I think one of the things I want to do is kind of, post some things to like YouTube, so that all y'all can kind of go to it.
It'd be a whole lot easier like for lives and stuff for like all of your classes.
Wait, say again?
It'd be a whole lot easier for like lives and stuff for all your classes, really.
It would.
You could show them how to do it and they could watch the video and follow along.
Yeah. All right. So let's we're going to start out same thing we've been doing. We need to face the end of the stock off. We're going to center drill it. So I've got my right-handed triangular insert cutting tool and lock it in place, approximately a 30-degree angle. Let's verify that we're centered properly. So our tools are centered in the y-axis. Again, 30 degrees from perpendicular. Lock it in. Slide my tailstock out the way. We're going to come up, touch it off on the end of the stock, come off of it, and then I'm going to go in my depth of cut. I'm going to go in about 0.10 of an inch. We'll turn our power on. Power's on. High range. You remember for the aluminum, the RPM, cutting speed, the RPM was up pretty high. It's higher than this machine will go to, so I'm going to go ahead and set it on my high end of the range. Make sure I'm in neutral. Forward rotation towards me. Face the end of the stock off. All right. Remove our live center. Place our Jacobs chuck into the tailstock. Have your center drill. I'm going to back my tool out of the way. Make sure that I'm not hitting anything. Gets within a ½ inch. Lock the tailstock in position. I'm going to reset my RPM to close to 1,000 right now. Make sure, again, that I'm not hitting anything. Neutral. Forward rotation. You see your chips are coming off in an even helix on both sides. That's what you want. That's a good feed rate. Let it sit for a second, back it out. Now we center drilled our hole. Take my tailstock out. Or my Jacobs chuck out. Okay. Now we're going to have to do a couple more things. We're going to get our machinist handbook and we're going to check the correct OD. Support my stock. Try to keep everything as short as possible. I don't want to have my tailstock extended way out and then have this sticking way out. That's just more things that can vibrate. And we're locked in. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn the diameter down slightly. This is 3/4 inch stock, so I'm going to do a 3/4 inch thread. That's not the one that you all, well actually you do have a 3/4. I don't remember what pitch you're working with, but we'll figure it out in a moment. We're going to go to the section on threading in our machinist handbook. Okay, you're going to find your unified screw threads. And I got a 3/4 16 unified national fine. I don't remember which one's on yours. It's that's a 3/4 16. Okay, so we're going to do the 3/4 16 UNF. All right. Class 2 thread. So you go to the column that says 2A. you're given a major diameter and we're given a minor diameter. Okay, right now I'm concerned about my major diameter. I need my major diameter for a class 2 fit. I need to be between 0.7391 and 0.7485. What we need to do is get a mic. We're going to measure it, so pause it for a second. All right, so this is 3/4 inch stock, but it's never exactly what it says. So I'm going to go ahead and measure it. So I've got 0.7515. 7515. Pen. Yeah. We'll do the math on it. We want to get my major diameter for a class 2 fit between 7.485 and 0.7391. So what I say, 7505? 7515. Go ahead and subtract 748.748. So I need to take off 35/10, so 3/1000ths of an inch. Okay. So we're going to take our triangular insert. Again, because this is aluminum, I'm using uncoated carbide. With yours, it's steel, so you're going to use the coated carbide. All right. Set that at 30 degrees from perpendicular. Just eyeball it. Lock that in. Now, I just want to take off 3/1000ths of an inch, but I will tell you, gentlemen, I said it before, this piece of stock is not perfectly centered in this chuck. We're not using a 4-jaw chuck with a dial indicator, and I'm not using a collet. This is a 3-jaw chuck, so one jaw gets in the middle first, then the second, then the third. So it's always off a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and take off just a small amount right now. Take off, about 1,000. See what it takes. See what we get from here. Now I can do it manually, or I can set the RPM or set the feed rate where I want it. Let's actually do that since I'm showing you step by step. Let's get it right. Go back to my machinist handbook and it'll give us a feed rate. So we are turning aluminum alloys, if I can find it. Yeah, that's for milling. It's going to be close to what we have for drilling here. So I'm going to go with 1040. It's funny, it didn't have that listed as a page number. Copper alloys, titanium, light metals. Okay, so it didn't list this in my handbook. It didn't list on the contents the speed and feed tables for light metals, but it is in there. I know it's in the book. Okay, so you're going to go to, and this book's on page 10008, table 8, cutting speeds and feed tables for turning a light metal. This is a 6061 T6 aluminum, so we got 6000 series aluminum. We have a feed of 36/1000ths of an inch per revolution. That's for a roughing cut, and then a cutting speed of 2820. When I put that into my formula, that cutting speed, it's going to come in well over the maximum for this. So I'm just going to set it on the highest speed, which is 1800 RPMs. The roughing feed rate is 36,000. So we go to our chart, and over here. Again, this is going to be a roughing feed rate. The closest thing I've got to 0.036. It's going to be pretty darn fast. It's like a 0.029. So I'm going to take off a really quick pass on this, but you're going to see it's really rough. So that's C1AG. So C1AG. So that's our feed rate. We've got our speed set. Forward rotation. I want automatic feed this way, so I'm going to pull my lever up. I'm not going to thread the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and stop it. Like I said, because it is not centered perfectly in this chuck, I had to take that first pass off just to see where I am. Now I'll go ahead and take another dimension. And I've got 0.749. I'm at 749. And my thread chart told me to go to what? Okay, so we don't have much left to take off. I'm at 749, and I need to get to between 739 and 748. So all I got to do is take off 1,000. Now you will notice that was a roughing feed rate, and I've got a pretty rough surface finish. Let's get this thing a little bit smoother. So we're going to slow the speed rate down. So I'm going to readjust my setting over here. I'm going to go to about 3 to 5 thousandths of an inch per revolution. So I'm going to put it on C2AE. C2. There's my feed rate. And what did I say this OD was? 749?
Yeah.
We're at 749. Subtract 74. I don't know. Subtract 745 from that. 4 thousandths of an inch. So we're going to take off 4 thousandths. Now, guys, this is something that as you're working on your threading project, you're going to find out. Different machines work differently. It's kind of a weird statement, but what I'm getting at is when I move this in 4 thousandths of an inch, does it take 4 thousandths off the diameter, or does it take 4 thousandths off the radius? Different machines are set up different ways, okay? I'm not going to tell you which way these are, but what I do recommend that you do is get a piece of scrap and take a pass, and then measure it, and then take a pass off, and then measure it again. See if what you took off truly is what you did here. Did I take it off the diameter, or did I take it off the radius? Now, I could turn my digital readout on, and right now I've got it set on diameter. So I'm going to go ahead and zero my x-axis, and what I say, 4 thousandths? Yep. 4 thousandths of an inch. We've got my speed set, we've got my feed set, so we'll go ahead. Notice with this aluminum, the chip comes off on a continuous helix. That's an indication your feed and your speed is correct. Galling up a little bit, it's probably going a little slow, but I'm okay right now. Okay. Now, it's almost like glass. Feed and speed is set correctly, your finish should come out perfect, all right? Now we should be within the range for a class 2 fit. And I've got 725 plus 14. So 725 plus 14 is 735, 739, 0.739. And that should be within my range. I am. Okay? I'm within the range for a class 2 fit. Okay? Everybody understands what I did. Don't just try to turn the threads with your 3/4 inch stock. If you want to get a class of fit, and you recall that from 242, threads have different classes of fit. Class 1 fit, spin on, spin it off, and it rattles like crazy. It's a very loose fit. Class 2 fit is production grade. This is what you're going to buy in a hardware store. It'll spin on, it'll spin off, but it won't rattle. It's going to kind of sit. It's going to fit on there. Class 3 fit is an interference fit. You have to put torque on it to get it on. You have to put torque on to get it off. Otherwise, it's just too tight of a fit. Class 4 and higher, you're getting into cryogenic fits. It's just all kind of things that are going there. But right now, I want a class 2 fit like what you're going to find in a store. So, got my OD. All right. So we've got our OD correct. Now we need to change this setup. Locate your metric set of wrenches. We're creating a unified thread, right? Unified thread has a 60-degree V. It's a modified V, 60 degrees. So we're going to change this setting on my compound attachment to 60 degrees. So I'm going to loosen these 2 bolts here and here on either side of the compound attachment. I think that's a 6mm wrench. That's so many chips in there torquing me to move it. Let me get this stuff out of the way. Loosen that. Loosen that. There we go. Okay. There is a gauge. There is a gauge mark on here. I'm going to set that on 60 degrees. Okay. And lock it. That's 60 degrees from here to here. But from perpendicular, it's 30. What's half of a 60-degree V thread? 30 degrees. So that's what I need. Everybody understand? Actually, what you may want to do is put it at 29 degrees, slightly under. It just gives you a little bit of clearance fit. All right, get my tool out the way. Bring that back up. Now you're going to need your threading tool. I'm going to have to get this put in place. Now, gentlemen, we're really supposed to have a, no, this is correct. This one. I'm supposed to have uncoated carbide, but all I've got is coated carbide. I'm cutting aluminum, you're cutting steel. This is the correct one for you. It is not the correct one for me. My surface finish isn't going to come out as good as I want it, but you're going to see. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put this tool in place. Go ahead and pause it.
Okay. Come on, there are they. Look at that one in purple. The pink, whatever color. The light color. Both, to be honest, yeah.
I know which one he's talking about.
I think either. Which one you taking there? Huh? Oh, the light color? Hey, come on.
I rock paper scissors. You need to go get a red tape. So go ahead and lock that in next week. I don't want it all in here. I'll make it right there. Okay, I'll pause it.
Yeah.
Pause it. Pause it. So Oh crap, you showed up. I almost had to think about you.
Yesterday go okay? 2 days go by.
I have a. Oh, I said it in class wrong. A hernia, where my stomach and my esophagus meet. It's pushing up through my diaphragm. I got to get that repaired. And, yeah, I got to get it repaired. Yeah. And because it is, I've already met my insurance deductible for the year. I'm going to go ahead and get it done very, very, very soon. All right. Got it in there. Cool. You locked it in good and tight? Very good. Okay. What you want, you're going to use your thread gauge, okay? Make sure I got enough space. I forgot to do one thing. I'm going to do something else real quick. I want to make a little relief groove, a place for me to stop and start. I'm going to put that triangular insert, square or perpendicular to my stock. Lock it in position. I'm going to chamfer the ends. Put a groove, just a place to start and stop from. All right. Which is what you're going to create when you look on your drawing. You have those relief grooves. Okay. Now, this groove, you're going to take your dial caliper and measure that. You need that groove to be smaller than the minor diameter of your thread. So I would measure this and I need it below 0.682. So as long as this diameter is smaller than 0.682, it's gonna work for me. Now don't go too far with it, but you wanna get it kind of close. You got a caliper? Let me see that. This is why it's good to have your dial caliper in your mic.
Yeah.
So as long as this is under that dimension, and I am at 0.591, so I'm well under it for this particular thread. I don't give you a specific diameter, so I'm okay with it. Just don't go too small. Just as long as that is smaller than the minor diameter, you're not going to have an issue with this your threading tool cutting into that groove. I don't want you to do that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take that tool out. And it's time to put my threading tool in. Okay, this has your 60-degree V thread. They make these inserts for whatever thread you're trying to create. So if I was trying to create an Acme thread, they have an Acme thread. This one is for the unified thread. We want to make sure that it is centered properly on the Y-axis. So let's go ahead and do the same thing we did earlier. I'm going to touch it off. You either want it dead center or slightly below it. I'm just a few thousandths below center, so I'm good right there. All right. Loosen your tool post. And you're going to need this. This is a center gauge. It has 60-degree V's on it. Take that, place it on the surface you machine, and then bring this up to it. This is going to help you to square up the tool. Everybody see it? So now I'm perpendicular. You got it? Square it up, lock your tool in place. Get that out of there. It's a great little tool. All right. I want to make sure I got enough space, so I'm going to move that back, get up to the front of it. Oh, this tool is Just barely, barely. Okay. All right. Now comes the part where we're going to do a few more calculations. Okay, calculator. Our major diameter was 0.725, 35. I'm at 0.739. And I want you to subtract, let's go 0.680. Okay, so he's got 59 thousandths, okay? I want you to take off about 10 thousandths of an inch per pass. So we're gonna take that number and divide it by 0.010. We're gonna do 5.9 passes. Actually, we're gonna do 5 passes, okay? And then that last little bit, you're gonna chase it with a die nut. Just get it clean. Because we're not using a cutting fluid, the finish is gonna be kind of rough. So we're gonna do 5 passes at 10 thousandths of an inch each. All right, so what I wanna do is bring my tool up and touch the surface. Come off of it. Now, do not touch the x-axis anymore. Don't touch it. Okay? I mean, you could, but the problem with moving it in here is as it moves down the length of this, it's going to remove metal off of both sides of that point on the tool, which is going to put undue wear on the tool. We're going to move in from here, and what that's going to do is only cut off on one side. Now, we really need to do a little bit of trigonometry and get it a little bit more accurate, but for our purposes, this is going to get us where we need to, okay? So I'm going to pay attention to where I am on my dial. Right now I'm at 0.072. Again, we're going to go 10 thousandths per pass. We're at 72 right now. So I'm going to move up 82, okay? 82 thousandths. Now, we've got to make some changes, okay? Run this way. We're doing 3/4, 16 threads per inch. This is a UNF, Unified National Find. So you come down to your chart and you find 16. Which will be the number of threads, if I can find it. Right there. See the number 16? So I've got a setting of C1 BH, C1 BH, BH, C1. All right, now you will notice, come back this way. I'm gonna need you over here. You're doing a good job. Come over here. When I turn this on, this is the lead screw. It's a threaded rod that feeds directly into the gearbox inside here. You see how fast it's turning. And then we have this dial. This is called the thread chasing dial. You see it rotating? We have to engage this lever, this is your half nut lever, at the exact same instant every time to do what is called thread chasing. So you see how fast it's moving. And you can do it. For CNC operations, yeah, you program it, it does it. It's perfect. But we're doing this manually, so we gotta slow this dude down, okay? So we're gonna move into the low range. And I'm gonna set it on 140. Now you see how slowly the dial is moving. It's gonna be a lot easier to catch that line and engage my thread chasing dial. Now what I'm gonna do, you see the little dot right here. I'm gonna engage this when I hit the number 1. And I'm gonna explain a little bit more about that in a moment. When I hit the number 1, I'm gonna force this down. There's a nut that's cut in half that wraps around that threaded rod. When I push that down, it grabs it and starts to move. So ready? 3, 2, 1. Here's my first pass. This should be 10 thousandths of an inch deep. And we're doing what, 4 or 5 passes. When I get to my groove, I'm gonna disengage this same lever. And disengage it. Do not touch X. Grab your compound. Right now I'm at 82. You gotta remember that, 82. So I'm gonna back it up. come back down to the beginning, and it doesn't matter. I can go all the way down to the end of the bed. It doesn't matter. Go back to 82, and I'll take off my next 10 thousandths. So that's to 92. When I get to the 1, I'm going to re-engage it, and it should be in the exact same groove. I've got this going really slow. I could probably speed it up a little bit, but I've already started. I ain't going to screw with it. Okay, I'm going to get to the middle of the dot and engage. And I'm in the same groove. This is called thread chasing. Okay, this is the manual way to create a thread. Your CNC machines do the same thing. It's just the computer controls it. So this is pass number 2. Disengage. We're at 92. Back it up. Come back down here. Yeah, that's 92. So now I'm going to go to 102. I'm going to get to my 1. I'm going to re-engage it. This is pass number 3. Now this live center that I got isn't the best one for this, okay? We really need one of the other ones. Okay, pass number 3. And again, you see I'm in the exact same groove. Now gentlemen, if you look closely at that thread, it looks kind of boogered. You see little marks on it. It's because we're not using the coolant and I'm not going at the correct RPM. Disengage, I'm at 102. Is my toothbrush over there? No. Let me see that. Let me get that chip off of there. All right, where was that? 102?
Mm-hmm.
That's 102. So now I'm going to go to. I don't have a lot of space with this particular live center. All right, so now again, we're waiting for number 1. This is what, pass number 4?
Yep.
Okay. Pass number 4. And again, we're in the same groove. The chip's getting a little bit heavier because it's digging a little bit deeper, but that's okay. Get into my groove. Kill it. We're at 202. Okay, so now we're at my depth of cut. When I hit the number 1, we'll hit it. This will be our 5th pass. The last pass, which is only a few thousandths, we're going to chase it off with a die nut just to get it, clean that up. Right there. Okay. All right. So that's it. Now, guys, don't put your finger on that because you see those burrs. It'll cut you wide open. Okay. But that's thread chasing. Again, we should be going at a much higher RPM than this. If you look in your handbook under the threading section for this material, there is threading. That RPM it's fast. But I can't physically, as a human being, I don't have the hand-eye coordination to engage it at that exact point as fast as that dial is turning, okay? This is the most complicated thing you're going to do on the lathe. But it's really not that hard. A few little things. Follow the charts, set the dials, engaging levers, and that's it. That's how you thread on a lathe, all right? Your thread gauge, this is what's required. Again, you're going to be using coated carbide, and that's the other reason this looks so bad, because I'm using coated carbide on aluminum. I shouldn't be doing that, but this is all I've got. I don't have any uncoated inserts. So again, I'd get a die nut and I'd clean that up the rest of the way and this would be finished. Okay? All right, that's it. Can you